My lifelong love of shooters was born in 1994. I was a second grader in a small Catholic school in Missouri. A self-proclaimed hacker, 7th grader, installed a copy of Wolfenstein 3D in one of our computer labs, even going so far as to bury the game in a deep system folder, changing the icon and name of the file. That computer became the most sought-after resource in the school. Kids constantly shooting Nazis without the teacher growing any the wiser. The game blew my mind. After actually enjoying PC games that we were allowed to play, like Oregon Trail, Wolfenstein 3D was a revelation. The graphics, the guns, the blood, the secret rooms, and sneakily doing something behind our teacher's back that felt very adult in my little old grade school made the experiences seem dangerous and exciting. My teacher discovered this illicit software on school computers and promptly deleted it. It became a source of long-lasting mournful sorrow. So fast forward to 2014 and I'm walking into my local GameStop to purchase my very first PS4. The New Order had just been released and a flood of memories just came right back, and it felt like being a second grader again. I followed a bunch of gaming sites at the time and I didn't really hear much at all about this game, so I picked it up on a whim and the game absolutely knocked me on my ass, and to this day remains one of my favorite PS4 titles. The New Order followed the exploits of B.J. Blazkowicz, a half-Jewish American resistance fighter trying to take down Death's Head, a leader in the Nazi regime that controls America in an alternate universe where Nazis won World War II and America surrendered. In many respects, B.J. is now labeled a terrorist by this Nazi influence, an influence which has saturated everything from the political landscape to pop music. Machine Games has made B.J. an amazingly rich and complex character, and the New Order and Wolfenstein 2 contain a cinematic story arc that draws him up as a complex and tortured human being. What began as a blank shooter canvas in games like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, Machine Games has carefully crafted an absolute beast that you understand and you empathize with as he mows down Nazis in search for freedom. Through flashbacks and an ongoing internal monologue throughout the story, we come to get an even clearer and more robust picture of one of the biggest video game badasses of this console generation. Machine Games doesn't stop there, and BJ is surrounded by a colorful and compelling cast of characters who also have their own sets of stakes and risks in this revolutionary Nazi battle. Everything holds a purpose in this game, and it foreshadows future events in the story in a way that can only be matched by the best Hollywood screenplays. The sheer amount of twists, turns, and pleasant surprises are too many to list here, but the game kept me on my toes to the point that I marathoned the game in one sitting. Usually when I see cutscenes in a game, I start groaning, but this game feels balanced both as a great movie and as a great game, to the point that I was craving the next scene to see what happened next in the story. If you've played games like Doom 2016, you will absolutely love the combat in this game. The level design itself is a lot more streamlined and clear, the atmosphere is stunning, and the splashes of bright color and light were appreciated, as one of my gripes with the New Order was that it was just kind of very gray and kind of bland visually. You have a badass home base between missions that is huge and contains training facilities and cool NPC interactions. It kind of reminds me of the Nostromo from the Alien franchise, and I've always enjoyed the whole vintage futurism of the series, which I find super charming. While I was slightly disappointed with the amount of weaponry in the game, each base weapon can be upgraded and dual-wielded, and those upgrades all matter. The New Order boasted both a strong stealth system and a balls-to-the-wall aggressive playstyle, depending on how you like to play games. This game definitely seems to de-emphasize the stealth path considerably from the original, but if a game's gonna let me dual-wield long rifles, you can only guess which path I'm gonna be taking. I also love the heft and the of the guns, which just sounded amazing, felt amazing in my virtual hands. And this might be an old man gamer thing, but I really appreciate they have an indicator arrow that helps you navigate sometimes very large and complicated maps. I remember in Fallout 4 I frequently got lost while navigating Vault, which led to do a lot of frustrating running around for 15 minutes. It took me out of the story, it took me out of the gameplay itself, and it caused me to just be frustrated. So I really like that they have this completely optional setup in this game where you can press a button on the D-pad and it can kind of point you in the direction that you need to be going. Of course, hardcore gamers may be turned off by this, but I thought it was a really great touch, and it's completely optional, but it really helps out impatient gamers like me that like to be focused on the story and the gameplay and not being lost somewhere in the desert trying to find your way out. The game took me about 12 hours to play. I played it on a low difficulty just to enjoy the complete experiences. There's tons of concept art, collectibles, records to discover, and I was thrilled to find additional missions that are unlocked once you beat the game. I'm definitely going to go back and play it on hard difficulty and search for every piece of lore and story related material I can find, because I do think that this game is just so deep and there's so much love and passion behind it, and it really comes through in the final product. There's even an arcade cabinet in a bar area that contains Wolfenstein 3D, which you're welcome to play all the way through and remind you just how far gaming has come in over 20 years.
Now for the rest of y'all, y'all ready to start a revolution?
So as for the verdict, if you like the storytelling of Naughty Dog games like Uncharted or The Last of Us, you owe it to yourself to run, not walk, to your nearest retailer and pick up a copy. This is my game of the year, and the experience holds rewards I didn't even think fans of the series were even expecting. No game has made me feel more than this one has. Wolfenstein 2 made me feel happy, it made me sad, it made me angry, it made me afraid. It made me feel both powerful and vulnerable all at the same time. I smiled, I cried, I cursed at my television. On occasions too numerous to count, my jaw literally dropped to the floor. No game, not even any movie, juggles as much as this one does, and does so flawlessly. This comment gets a huge amen from me, and I can't wait to dive back into the world for another go. This game showed me there's a place for single-player experiences in this day and age when everything seems to have mandatory multiplayer, microtransactions, maximized profits, etc., etc. Wolfenstein 2 is one of those carefully crafted rare gems I won't be forgetting anytime soon, and I can't recommend this game highly enough. That's all I got today, guys. If you played the game, I'd love to keep a discussion going down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have in the comments, and I'm going to be back soon with more. Until next time, this is Spearfield7. See y'all later.